by the Cameron Crazies tonight. Jay, what's senior night like? What do you remember about it?
I remember it was a difficult thing to prepare for. You don't know what your emotions are going to be like. In my senior year, we were playing for the ACC championship against North Carolina, so there was certainly a lot on the line and a lot of things going through your head. You had to manage your emotions, which is not always an easy thing to do.
Hubert, I know this is the opposite venue from where you experienced senior night. What do you remember about the emotions that these guys will be experiencing tonight?
Well, I do want to say it's been a lot of fun watching John Scheyer play and also develop throughout his career. I thought his freshman year he was a spot-up shooter. Now, this is a complete basketball player. At 6'5", he's an outstanding defender. He can shoot from three, he can handle the ball, he can put the ball on the floor, take it to the rim, and finish with both hands. He has been so much fun to watch, and I think he's the #1 reason why Duke has a chance to get to a Final Four since 2005.
Bob, when you had guys on senior night, did you say anything to them? Did you advise them in ways to handle their emotions the way Jay was talking about?
Oh, yeah, I think you talk about let's everybody help these seniors get off to a really good finish to the season, and then we would have our senior night after the game was over. And fortunately, only one time did we ever lose that last game. But I thought that was a better way to handle it. And I thought the game came first and then senior night came second.
Yeah, I agree. We did the same thing at Notre Dame. And then what we do, Bob, as you probably did too, we'd let the seniors talk to the fans and the student body and express their emotions for what it was like to play 4 years and to let everybody else know that, hey, this is my farewell, and thanks for letting me be part of this program at Notre Dame.
This is Jordan Davidson, walk-on.
Yeah.
Jordan Davidson is a psychology student. He doesn't get to play a lot, but he's contributed a lot. He's actually been here for the 5th year in the program, Jay.
Well, those guys go to work every day in practice, and they are a huge part of the team. And people may not see them play in games, but they're a big part of what goes on every team around the country. Walk-ons do a tremendous service to their team.
And you see that sign, that's the Z for Zubak. Brian Zubak, since being inserted into the starting lineup now, he's in the last 6 games. He's had double-figure rebounds in 4 of those 6. He's 1 point away from 500, and really, he arrived here with a lot of potential, but since he's been starting the last few games, he's really made an impact on this Duke team.
I love watching him play. I mean, he's a guy that understands his role and accepts his role on both ends of the floor. He's a game changer on the defensive end. He hangs around the rim, he blocks shots, alters shots, rebound the basketball, and this year he's been aggressive offensively. He catches the ball down low on the paint. He has a nice right-hand jump hook and been doing a terrific job of attacking the offensive boards, and as a senior has continued to improve throughout his career, and he's a key part in Duke having a chance to get to a Final Four.
You see how Coach K is reacting, always an emotional guy. You develop a bond with players that you have over a period of time, Digger, and it's kind of hard to see him go sometimes, or see him in this circumstance where they know it's their last game in this building.
Yeah, it really is, because now, 4 years you've got a guy, and now all of a sudden he's leaving. And every one of these guys has meant so much to Coach K. I've never seen Coach K this year get so emotional about a team and put his energy into games. And it's obvious it's carried into these players, and this is why I think they've been playing so well the last month, especially when you look at Zubak and what he has done to make that front line difference.
See another one of the seniors, Lance Thomas, greeting his teammates. Lance Thomas is a guy who is a candidate for the All-ACC defensive team. He's an artist, which I guess in some ways could be somewhat ironic, because while he creates some beauty on canvas and in different areas, he really does the dirty work for this Duke team.
Yeah, that's a good point. Both Zubak and Thomas really fill important roles on this team. And they do something that guys don't get a lot of credit for. They screen. They set screens and they get their teammates open. They defend on the other end and they rebound on every possession. I think you got to give a tremendous amount of credit, and Hubert said it, to a guy like Brian Zubak. He came in as a McDonald's All-American. His career didn't go the way you would always expect a McDonald's All-American to go, but the kid kept working. He kept working, and now he's become a valuable contributor to a top 5 team.
Guys, you set screens, soft spot in your heart, Bob.
Yeah, really soft spot. You don't see it very much, and I think that
you see Lance Thomas, and then here's the star of this team, the leader of this team, John Scheyer. Scheyer, so versatile. If they need a shot, he makes it. They need to take a charge, he takes it. Loose ball, he gets on the floor and gets it. He is in the top 5 of 8 different statistical categories. We saw his parents, Jim and Lori Scheyer. I ran into Jim yesterday, and he was talking about how he couldn't believe that the 4 years were over. They've taken an apartment in the area so that they could see all of these games, and this one will be etched into their memory. Four Duke seniors hoping to accomplish something that's been left undone on their resume so far. They have never beaten North Carolina inside Cameron Indoor Stadium. They'll have an opportunity to do that tonight. The Tar Heels, owners of a 4-game winning streak. And this visiting house is 8 miles from their campus. Coach K going back to the locker room. Duke and Carolina coming up top of the hour. Just yet, because there's a little bit more business to attend to here in this 8-mile Tobacco Road rivalry. Duke and North Carolina getting set to square up, and Dan Schulman will have the call.
Reese, the intensity is at a fever pitch at this moment inside Cameron Indoor Stadium. It is senior night here at Duke University with a share of the ACC regular season championship on the line. Welcome to the Infinity College Basketball Tip-Off, bringing you the moments that define the season. And for these two programs, regardless of their records, this is one of these moments that defines their season. It is North Carolina and Duke in the best rivalry that there is in college basketball. A look at the ACC standings, and hey, Maryland won today at Virginia. Duke needs to win tonight to share the regular season crown and to get the 1 seed heading into the ACC tournament in Greensboro. Hi everybody, Dan Schulman and Dick Vitale at noisy and sweltering Cameron Indoor Stadium. Listen to this noise. Great passion here. What are you looking for tonight?
Well, you know, you got so much at stake. You think about it. Duke's still trying to be a number 1 seed. They want to certainly win the ACC and share it with Maryland. You have the fact they've lost 4 times in a row to North Carolina on this floor. So you know they're going to be fired up. Senior night. I'm fired up. You're fired up. Students are fired up.
Hard to hear, it's so noisy in here right now. Let's visit our Star Watch right now. We got a couple of seniors for you, beginning with Marcus Ginyard.
Well, you know, Ginyard's really been rebounding well. 35 rebounds in his last 3 games. He's given them a lot of rebounding power, and it's really affected the club. John Scheyer, he's been an All-American all year long. He's been sensational, and here he is on senior night.
Carolina's playing a little better. They've won 2 in a row, but they've got more health problems. For the latest, here's Aaron Andrews.
Dan, North Carolina head coach Roy Williams told us tonight he has never dealt with this many injuries in his entire coaching career, and he's going to have to keep his eye on 2 more players tonight. Deon Thompson is dealing with a bad back. It's something he says it's been bothering him for quite some time, but he hasn't practiced the last 2 days. He said after halftime tonight, he's really going to have to keep an eye on it because they're worried about him having that back tighten up. Will Graves is another player tonight, Dan, that has a sprained right ankle. He told me that it's going to be wrapped up so much he feels like he has a cast on it. Finally, I was joking around with Marcus Ginyard, who said, can you believe it? I'm like the healthiest one on the team this year.
Presented by Infinity.
Our motto is dream, do, and achieve.
It's amazing how much can be accomplished when no one cares who gets the credit.
And when they get to a game like North Carolina, the game itself will inspire you.
If we're playing for the ACC championship, you don't need to motivate your guys.
information has been brought to you by the Infiniti G Sedan.
It begins with a brushstroke, a simple yet powerful line, uniting engineering and emotion, connecting driver to road, separating Infiniti from every other luxury car in the world. The newly redesigned Infiniti G Sedan. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infiniti. He is a master driver. His job is to measure what computers cannot. How a car moves you. Emotionally. Because that is the ultimate luxury. The newly redesigned Infiniti G Coupe. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infiniti.
Welcome back to Durham, North Carolina, and welcome back to Saturday Night Primetime, presented by DirecTV. North Carolina and Duke are ready to go here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Look at the starting lineups just before tip. We begin with the visitors from 8 miles away in Chapel Hill. Carolina 16-14, 5-10 in the league. Drew and Ginyard in the backcourt. Graves, Thompson, and Henson up front, as Aaron told you. They've got some health concerns, but Graves and Thompson are starting. Scheyer on his senior night along with Smith and Singler, Thomas and Zubek, 2 other seniors as well. An emotional night for the Cameron Crazies.
And just remember this, 4 years in a row, North Carolina's been here and left with a W, but they had a guy named Hansbrough.
And a quick foul on Lance Thomas will send Marcus Ginyard to the line. Roy Williams says he has never dealt with a team that has had so many injuries in his 22-year career. It's the most losses in a season he has ever suffered, but he said, you know what? It is an honor to come into this building and coach in this rivalry, Carolina and Duke.
And he also said, hey, it's North Carolina and Duke. You got to really lace them up, come out to play, and play with some passion.
A win for Duke tonight, and Mike Krzyzewski will celebrate his 12th ACC regular season championship. And again, if Duke wins, they would share it with Maryland. Congratulations to Gary Williams and the Terps. They got a road win today at Virginia. Terrific season for them. Got that huge win over Duke on Wednesday. If Duke wins, they would share the crown with Maryland, but Duke would be the #1 seed in the ACC tournament on the basis of tiebreakers.
You know, Dan, Gary Williams, to me, has got to be the coach of the year in the ACC. He's done a phenomenal job. He belongs in the Hall of Fame, as does Rick Pitino. I don't know what they're waiting for.
Ryan Zubek became a starter for the first Maryland game a few weeks ago and has been averaging double figures in rebounds ever since. Scheyer, and a great start to his senior night.
What a career he has had. Mike Krzyzewski was just flowing with praise about Jon Scheyer, not only as the player, but as the person, the student athlete.
Says he's one of those special people that everybody's just got a soft spot for us. We've got a travel call on Carolina.
If there's ever a team that needs psychologically a good start, it's North Carolina. Take a look at Jon Scheyer. He's spotting up, and he does what he does best, baby. He can flat out shoot the rock.
Of course, a leading contender for ACC Player of the Year, probably a 2-man race, along with Gravis Vasquez of Maryland, although Malcolm Delaney had another big game for Virginia Tech today. Kyle Singler knocks down his first attempt.
Tell you the big three, they produce about 67% of all the points, the 3 S's. Super scintillating, sensational.
Drew into traffic. And it's going to be a held ball. Turnovers have been such a big problem for Carolina. They'll keep it on the arrow right now. But let's go back to the other end. And when Duke's knocking down threes, they're tough to beat.
Tell you better play on the perimeter against those threes. They flat, as you said, Dan, so well. They really make the three, especially throw in Nolan Smith, who can shoot 40% from out there. Hey, we're going to solve the problem with Player of the Year tonight. I promise you I'm going to solve the problem with Player of the Year.
You going to tell me now, or you haven't worked it out yet?
Let's wait it out.
All right.
I'm going to go to the VBDI. Vital Index is getting warmed up.
Henson with his offhand, a left-handed hook shot, and that young man, unfortunately for the team, a lot of injuries, but he has gotten more playing time and has started to show some of that potential there.
You know, he came in at 180 pounds, so physically it's been tough for him, but he's got the agility, and he's going to become a special player.
Scheyer Scheyer's got a 3. Singler's got a 3. Smith has got a 3.
Who's super, who's simple, and who's sensational? I'll let you decide, Mr. Schulman.
Henson driving, throws up a prayer, rebounds Zubac.
That was a prayer. That was a Hail Mary, and our Father rolled in one.
And neither of those prayers were answered for the freshman. Scheyer again. And how many times have you seen Scheyer get fouled on a three-pointer?
And you don't want to put him on a free throw line. He's simply, as they say, the best of all the rest when you put him on a free throw line. That was Tina Turner's big hit, by the way. Simply the best of all the rest.
Ginyard with the foul. And boy, you hate to see anybody foul a jump shooter, especially a fifth-year senior. And now Scheyer, look at his development over the years. 3rd in the league in scoring. And his mom and dad are at just about every game, every home game, most road games. They've been following him around for 4 years. They're from Chicago. Of course, remember way back when Bruce Weber's brother was Scheyer's high school coach. Illinois wanted him desperately. He chose Duke. He's had a phenomenal 4-year career.
You know, Chris Callis told me he committed early. And you talk about Scheyer, he's now one of the 6 finalists for the Bob Cousy Award, named after one of the great point guards of all time, along with Sharon Collins, Scotty Reynolds, Evan Turner, Rivas Vasquez, and John Wall.
Pretty good company right there. You're going to see more than one of those guys named first-team All-Americans at the end of the year as well.
You're going to see some of them named first-team All-American tonight.
Yep. Ginyard and Scheyer matching up on one another at both ends of the court. Now Graves, who is Carolina's leading scorer in conference play. Desperation 3. Almost got the bounce, and another rebound for Zubac, who is closing out his career playing his best basketball.
It's a nightmarish start right now for North Carolina.
Both Graves and Thompson less than 100%. Another player, Leslie McDonald, the backup guard who had 16 against Wake earlier this week, out with a strained hamstring. David Ware is out. Ed Davis is out for the season with a broken wrist. They haven't been whole pretty much the entire year.
You know, when Davis broke that wrist, the bone in his wrist, they were 49-49 with 11 minutes on the clock against Duke. Yep. Yeah, in the first meeting.
And he actually came back into the game. Remember, airballed a free throw, made the second one, I think. Played a little bit more, but hasn't played since.
You know, you and I saw them earlier when they beat Michigan State. They beat Ohio State. Obviously, they're a different basketball team now.
Look at the shot clock running down again. How hard they're having to work just to get a low percentage look.
That's not the North Carolina we've been accustomed to seeing. And certainly not the one that's won 4 years in a row on this floor.
And of course, the Hansbroughs and Lawsons and so forth are gone. This is a younger team. A team that's battled injuries. A team that was picked too highly at the beginning of the year, but still a team, I think that you would agree, Dick, has more talent than they've shown on the court this season.
Absolutely. I really question at times their passion and a really desire representing that uniform with a sense of pride. That uniform's got such great tradition.
Drew driving on Singler. And Drew was out of bounds when he touched that ball. It'll go over to Duke. A great start, Dick, for the Blue Devils, and a great start for the Big Three.
Well, I think the real problem is, certainly all year long, it's been the backcourt play. Inconsistent for North Carolina. But the trifectas are falling, baby. And that means it could be a long night for the Tar Heels.
Oh, Rich.
Hola, amigo. It's me, your TV. Just pulled the plug on your cable to show you something sweet. With DirecTV, get a DVR that stores twice as many shows as cable. So load it up. Sports, soaps, absolutely. Reality show marathon, not my thing, but cool. Lots of movies, why not? You got the room. Stop limiting yourself. Give them a call and check out that deal. DirecTV, it'll change your life.
There are 31 days in GMC's Truck Month. Make each one count. With a truck that offers you over 300 horsepower, over 1,800 pounds of payload, and over 20 highway miles per gallon. Get 0% APR for 60 months on Sierra Half-Ton, rated a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. If you've got work to do, Truck Month couldn't have come at a better time.
Oh, and this one is tied up. Time up, Boston.
Man, I wish this game would never end.
Hey, send it into overtime. Yeah, no problem.
Boston's going to get one last chance. The pass up to Hampton for the win. Oh, he loses control. This one is going into overtime.
Buffalo Wild Wings, you have to be here.
Oh, unbelievable.
First and second round coverage of the Masters, April 8th and 9th on ESPN.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by DirecTV. It'll change your life. Call 1-800-DirecTV. And in part by GMC. We are professional grade. And Buffalo Wild Wings. You have to be here.
Highest scoring trio in the country.
There goes Mr. Super Scheyer.
What a big time three for Scheyer.
There's Mr. Scintillating Nolan Smith. He gets the three.
Scoop goes for Nolan Smith.
And there's Mr. Sensational with the jump hook in the lane. Kyle Singler.
To Singler. How pretty was that? Few, if any, teams in America could match the perimeter strength or any kind of big three, whatever you want to call them, to the extent that Duke has. These guys have carried the load and have been so consistent all season.
You know, they're second in the nation right now in terms of a threesome producing. Number one, Fighting Irish Notre Dame, big three. Haringody, great news, back, played 11 minutes today. And what a job Mike Bray's done with that club, the 4 games they've won in a row.
The other two of the big three for Notre Dame, Tim Abromaitis, who has to be Big East most improved player, and Ben Hansbrough, Tyler's little brother. Huge road win at Marquette for the Irish, as you said, and they've got to be a lock to go to the dance right now, the way that they have finished the season with a number of big wins.
Absolutely a lot. Mike Bray has done a sensational job, and he fits perfect that entire system and what Notre Dame is about.
Both Plumlees into the game in the front court for Duke. Tyler Zeller has checked in for Carolina. Zeller in his 5th game back after missing 10 games with a stress fracture in his foot. Let's go courtside now with Aaron Andrews.
Well, Dan, it was almost like I knew what I was talking about. I asked head coach Roy Williams before the game what has to happen in the first 5 minutes for your team, and he said we simply just have to make shots. He said, I know that sounds cheesy and corny, but we have to do it. He was right. He was afraid that this would happen with the emotion of senior night and, of course, the emotion that goes on here at Cameron.
And you better do it. Dancing with the Stars. We had a little warm-up before. I was dancing with her. She's ready to win, man. She's ready to win.
We got it. And there's her partner. There's Max right there.
Hey, Max, you should see, baby. I was dancing with her. She can flat out dance, Max. Don't mess her up, Max.
Dick, he can't hear you right now, but he wants to meet you, though.
There's Aaron's partner. They've been working 6 hours a day. She's got the sore feet and the bruises to prove it. Good luck, Aaron. Well, what an ugly start for Carolina. 3 points, better than 5 minutes into the game. You know, Carolina has not scored 80 points in a single conference game this year. If they don't do it tonight, that would be the first time ever that they fail to do it. Ginyard comes out. Graves comes out as well.
And that's what Duke basically averages, so they're going to have to put some points on the board. But you know, it's amazing when you look at North Carolina. It's hard to believe that they've won 2 in a row for the first time in 2010, beating Wake Forest and Miami prior to this game.
They had lost 10 of 12 before those 2 wins. Carolina right now looking like the number 9 seed in the upcoming ACC tournament in Greensboro as Justin Watts is called for the foul. He's going to get some playing time with Leslie McDonald out. Again, if Duke wins, they'll be the 1 seed, Maryland 2. If Duke loses tonight, it'll be the other way around.
Tell you one thing, when you talk about, look at it, Mr. Davis sitting on the sideline, certainly one of the premier players for North Carolina. Having him on the bench certainly doesn't help their cause.
Now with a broken wrist for the rest of the season. Undecided, at least publicly, whether he will return for his junior season.
You know, I personally think he needs college.
I agree with
Physically, he needs college. He needs the strength. But will he be drafted as a lottery? Yes, a potential.
Smith misses a couple of times. Nolan Smith really getting after it on the offensive glass, and we've got another held ball. Duke's ball. As you mentioned, Dick, it was in the Carolina-Duke game back on February the 10th when Ed Davis suffered a broken wrist, broken left wrist, and he is a lefty. And look at the numbers. I mean, big rebounding numbers among the league leaders in blocks, double-figure score. And even though they've gotten Zeller back, and Zeller's terrific, boy, they miss the presence that Ed Davis offered at both ends of the court.
Now they rotate into his zone. Duke's so effective against the zones because of their passing ability and their shooting ability.
Andre Dawkins in for Nolan Smith. Dawkins will get an early look. And the rebound to Strickland. Strickland really pushing it. Carolina turns it over. That has been, of all the problems they've had this year, I think injuries and turnovers have been the two biggest problems.
Yeah, it really has. And perimeter shooting as well. And Roy, he really told us that before the season started. He was really concerned about those two areas.
Singler makes it a 10-point game.
Too wide open, Dan. Nobody challenging him. I mean, that's a wide open 12-footer. See, I really think when I look at North Carolina, their coach has got so much pride. I don't think they play defense with the pride you would expect out of a North Carolina team.
And Roy Williams has been the first to say, quote, "We have not competed as hard this year as we need to or as I expect them to."
Tell you one thing, they should compete half as hard as their coach. That's why he's a Hall of Famer.
Singler again, this time posting up.
Too easy, Dan. Too easy. I mean, you and I can make those shots inside.
7 for Singler, you think? Thompson, no. And the rebound down to Miles Plumlee.
This is the biggest Duke team size-wise in many a year. And he sort of changed a little bit his complexion defensively, trying to funnel more to the middle rather than extend the defensively on the wing.
They don't force as many turnovers. They're a much better rebounding team. In fact, they lead the ACC in rebounding margin. Saved by Singler, but into the hands of the Heels. Strickland off to Zeller, and he'll lay it in.
Keep waiting for Zeller to break out. I know injuries have really curtailed his growth as a player. That was an amazing game you guys had the other night, though, with Maryland. Vasquez has been so brilliant for Gary Williams. And Gary, to me, always one of my favorites. You're talking about a guy with intensity.
Singler on fire right now, already with 10.
Nobody challenging the perimeter.
Big collision, and the foul is going to go against Mason Plumlee to take us to a timeout. All Duke in the early going. Senior night here at Cameron Indoor Stadium of the Blue Devils, playing with a world of intensity.
It's not the new Lexus. It's not the new BMW. It's not the new Audi. What it is impossible to resist. The new 2010 LaCrosse from Buick. It's the new class of world class.
To all the happiness and luck that life can hold, and at the end of your rainbow, a pot of gold. Happy St. Paddy's Day from Triple Hops Brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness.
You know, I sell tools. Tools are uncomplicated. Nothing complicated about a pair of 10-inch hose clamp pliers. You know what's complicated? Shipping. Shipping's complicated.
Not really. With priority mail flat rate boxes from the Postal Service, shipping's easy. If it fits, it ships anywhere in the country for a low flat rate.
That's not complicated.
No.
Come on.
Got a handshake?
Right.
All right.
Priority mail flat rate boxes, only from the Postal Service. A simpler way to ship.
Right now, all over the country, Discover Card customers are getting 5% cash back bonus at grocery stores. It pays to get more. It pays to discover.
North Carolina and Duke, the greatest rivalry in college basketball.
Oh, it is super scintillating, sensational, baby!
But in recent years, Carolina has won more than their fair share against Duke. Tonight, though, doesn't look like that, at least in the early going. Duke leading by 13. And to be fair, this is a much better Duke team than what Carolina's put on the court for most of this season.
Well, you look at North Carolina, certainly struggling offensively. They don't seem to have a rhythm. And on the defensive end, an area where it really gets the guts and heart, they are not exerting the kind of effort you would anticipate. Hey, at this place here, how good is Duke? Think about these numbers. They average 86 points a game on this floor at home, 69 on the road. They allow only 60 here, on the road close to 69. Field goal percentage, 48% versus 41. Three-point shooting, 42% versus 35. Rebound margin, better than +5 at home. Something tells me the Cameron Crazies play a vital role. And Mike told us before the game, they've been the best in the last decade.
And the best number of all that Duke has in this building this year, 16-0, have not lost here at home.
And if they win today, 17-0 is a record, the most ever at home.
Travis Ware in for Carolina. Drew's floater short, but a block called on Zubek. Ryan Zubek with foot problems for about 2 years of his 4-year career. Just starting again this season for the Maryland game, as we mentioned 3-4 weeks ago, and all of a sudden double-figure rebounder, playing with confidence, staying out of foul trouble. Aaron Andrews has more.
And of course, he has that dislocated finger, and I talked to him and Chris Collins about that today. That finger, Dan, by the way, matches the Duke color blue from dislocating against Maryland. He says it's fine, it's good to go. He's practiced with the tape since Wednesday night, and Coach Collins also says as well it shouldn't cause him any problems, which is good news, of course, along the way for the postseason.
And the Blue Devils, unlike the Tar Heels, Aaron and Dick, have been relatively healthy this season. You look at some of the really good teams in the country. Syracuse has been a very healthy team, and Kentucky has been a healthy team. Kansas has been a relatively healthy team. It's a big X factor.
You know, as you see the tape right there, the one thing about Jim Boeheim, though, he's healthy, but he doesn't want to see Rick Pitino.
That's true.
6 in a row they have lost to Louisville. What about that kid, the star of the day, Kurek?
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable.
Averaging 3.5 points per game, scored 22 today against Syracuse, all of them in the second half. Louisville beat Syracuse for the second time this season. That's got to lock up a bid for them, and that was the final Cardinals game at Freedom Hall.
Yes, sir. You know what's amazing? Rick Pitino is a master after his team gets blown out. They were blown out by Marquette, come back and beat Louisville. They were blown out by St. John's, come back and beat Syracuse. I said beat Louisville, beat Syracuse.
Tough shot by Graves. Another rebound for Zubek, his 4th already.
Certain coaches have that way. And Rick, to me, is a Hall of Famer, as is Gary Williams.
Scheyer, nice kick. Dawkins, a good look.
He can shoot it. If you give him time, he went through a little bit of a slide. He went through a slump. He lost his minutes. He was really good for them earlier in the year.
He'll get a big ovation as he comes out to single.
There is no finer rivalry in college sports. I may give the edge in all the sports when you think about the Pinstripes and the Red Sox.
Drew around Zubek, and the layup rolls in for him. 3 points now for Larry Drew, who's had a much criticized season, wouldn't you say, Dick? I mean, you look at his numbers, and the numbers are okay, but if you look at his numbers between wins and losses, what a huge difference in his shooting percentage, his turnovers, and so forth. And, of course, replacing a guy like Ty Lawson, he's been under a microscope all season long.
See, I think the kid is playing up to his ability level. I think we have to understand people are limited in their talent level. You try to expect him to be a Ty Lawson. He is not a Ty Lawson. He is a good college guard, a kid that's in a system where they're used to one thing, being a top 5 team in America.
And Dexter Strickland, who's his backup, is not a true point guard. So they've struggled at that position. Men's college basketball continues tomorrow at 2 Eastern. A Big Ten battle between number 17, Wisconsin, and Illinois. The Illini won in Madison earlier this season. They may need another big win to solidify their case. That's a big-time game tomorrow.
I think they're in pretty good shape. However, I sort of agree with you because they're starting to lose late. Same with Wake Forest tomorrow. Big game with Clemson. Lost 4 in a row.
Count the basket for Nolan Smith.
These 3 kids are so talented. Nolan Smith has increased his numbers from last year to the tune of a plus 9.5 to average 17 points a game.
And Mike Krzyzewski will tell you a lot of that was Henderson going pro, more opportunity for Smith. He thinks with Scheyer leaving that Smith will have an even bigger role and bigger numbers next year.
You know, they don't have numbers, but vital contributors to Duke, Thomas and Zubek. As you said earlier, Zubek really finally not injured. I mean, he's a kid that was criticized quite a bit throughout his career.
Deion Thompson, whose numbers have come down quite a bit in conference play, misses that 15-footer. Nice crossover by Smith. Count it again.
They're all fired up. The crowd is fired up. Cameron Crazies are going bananas. I think this Duke team has a great chance to be the #1 seed.
Tori, with my swingman glove, I can feel anything.
To 9. First it was Scheyer, then it was Singler, now it's Smith.
Hey, those three have been such dominant performers. He's even getting a roll right there. You know, I mentioned the race for #1 seed. It's obviously going to come down with Purdue, Duke. Kansas State lost it today by losing to Iowa State. Villanova lost. Ohio State possible. I know they have 7 losses, but Dan, 2 teams with 7 losses in the 2000s got a #1 seed. Michigan State in 2000 and 2001 Illinois had 7 losses.
West Virginia in the conversation at all if they win the Big East Championship?
Well, win the Big East Championship, I think they're in the conversation.
But I agree with you. Duke's got an opportunity if they win tonight, and they're up 20 already. They go into the ACC tournament as the #1 seed. If they could win that tournament, they look like they'd have a real shot for the last #1. Mike Krzyzewski, by the way, told us before the game tonight, he doesn't care if they're a 1 or a 2. He said, wait till the brackets come out, and then I'll tell you if I'm happy with where we are and who we're playing.
Said he doesn't know where any of the sites are either.
That's right.
Said he's not concerned about any of that.
Well, none of them are that close. Sometimes they'll go up to Greensboro or somewhere close to home and play. None of them are close. You've got to believe, obviously, that Kansas, Kentucky, Syracuse are all going to be #1 seeds. You think Duke's got the inside track for the last one?
Well, I really do. Unless Purdue. Let's not count them out. Even though the eye test, you know, they say you have the eye test. You look at Purdue now without Robbie Hummel, they don't impress you. But they've won their last 2 games. And in fairness to all those kids in there, they've had a great year. If they go on and win the Big Ten, they could be a #1 seed.
You look at the substitution pattern now for Duke as well, and Mike Krzyzewski's rotation is as tight as it's been all year. Zubek and Thomas start. They come out in tandem. The Plumlee brothers, not twins, excuse me, the Plumlee brothers come in for 2-3 minutes, then they go back out, and then Zubek and Thomas, the seniors, come back in again. Dawkins spells one of the 3 perimeter guys every now and again, and that's about it.
And Zeller with a big nice move, splits the trap, makes the little jumper. He's got a younger brother that's really talented.
Of course, had an older brother who played at Notre Dame. This is Mason Plumlee down to Singler. Equally adept beyond the arc or in the post. Good matchup with Grave. Turnaround jumper. Offensive rebound, Miles Plumlee. His brother's in there as well. A couple of Carolina players hit the court. And we've got a held ball that'll give it to UNC.
You know, both schools really loading up on recruits. Roy Williams told us how proud he is of the kids he's got coming in because they're all winners. He said they're all winning state championships. Talking about Bullock and Marshall and Harrison Barnes.
And we bumped into Kyrie Irving before the game today. Right. Josh Hairston, 2 of the Duke recruits.
And he was telling us all about some great talent. Brandon Knight. He also loves Doc Rivers' son.
Yep. Good hands. And it's going the other way. Another Carolina turnover.
It's been turnover city all year for the Tar Heels. I tell you, this man is a Hall of Famer. He is absolutely eats, drinks, basketball, loves North Carolina. It's going to tear his heart out watching what's happened this year.
And a travel on Miles Plumlee. A 20-point lead for the Blue Devils. Again, nobody wearing a Duke uniform tonight has ever beaten Carolina here on their home court.
Well, it was a different Carolina team with Ellington and Lawson and Hansbrough, Danny Green.
Turnaround Deion Thompson, and it rolls in. Good soft touch off the window.
He's averaging about 13 points a game this year. It looked earlier this year that he was going to have a real big year. I knew they wouldn't be a top 5, but when we saw the Michigan State or Ohio State, I thought they'd be legitimate top 20.
Remember, they were picked tied with Duke to win the ACC in the preseason, and even back then, Roy Williams was saying, we're not that good, but even Roy, in his worst nightmares, probably didn't think this kind of a season was coming. Strickland, and there have been moments in the season when Strickland, give that young man credit. He's playing hard, he's playing aggressively, and he's got a bright future.
Well, I think he's going to be a good player. He came out of St. Patrick, the same school as Irving's from. They got a great junior guy there. Some say the best junior in America, Michael Gilchrist.
Mason Plumlee.
Tell you one thing, though, there's no place I'd rather be than in a Duke Carolina game. Nothing is finer.
Singler off a screen. Got it to go. The Big Three are dominating here tonight. They've got 32 of the 35 points. Zeller at the other end.
And he's really upset, Mike Krzyzewski, with that transition defense. Zeller didn't get that. That's why he's such a winner, too. I mean, he could care less right now. He likes the scoreboard around plus 18, but he still wants to see that effort. He don't want to see you taking it easy a little bit because you got the big lead.
Scheyer. That time didn't get the foul call.
The referee didn't see it. He was looking at the ball. He missed it. He should have been out of line. His grandparents are watching down in Sarasota, Florida.
Oh, your neck of the woods.
Oh, yeah.
Thompson around Plumlee. Fumbling with it. Recovers it. Got it back again and finishes. Good effort by the senior.
Yeah, real good effort. That last win they had was their 2000th in the history of North Carolina basketball. Only the second school to win 2,000 games. Kentucky is number one.
A 16-point lead for Duke, and one of the big reasons why, Dick, has been their touch from beyond the arc. They've got 5 threes already in this game.
And you better extend the defense and play on the perimeter against Duke the way they can shoot. They have 3 lethal weapons out there, and a 4th if he gets on fire, and Dawkins off the bench.
And there's Dawkins, who's in one tonight, so 4 different Blue Devils have already knocked down a 3. Duke is a team shooting 39% from beyond the arc.
I'm going to give you my player of the year in this conference, and it's one of the toughest calls to make because of the play. And, you know, I feel bad for Malcolm Delaney because he's been great this year, but it's been Vasquez and Scheyer really going at it. I'll tell you one thing, Virginia Tech, they're in the tournament. If they get a raw deal again like they did 2 years ago, that would be a crime. They beat Georgia Tech at Georgia Tech today. Seth Greenberg's kids deserve to be in the tournament.
Very big win, very physical, intense game today down in Atlanta. Delaney had another big game. So when are you giving us your ACC Player of the Year? A little bit later on?
Wait, what do you want?
Keeping us in suspense?
Yeah, we'll wait a little while.
A little suspense.
We'll wait a little while because I keep going back and forth.
Singler. Zubak keeps it alive. Scheyer for 3.
Wow. Credit that big 3 to Zubak, the big C-man, getting the offensive rebound and finding the right guy, John Scheyer.
It'll stay with Carolina as we go to a timeout here at the Cameron Indoor Stadium. Duke is doubling the Tar Heels right now. Cardinals quarterback Matt Leinart is here.
Wow,
the Stars are out tonight to watch Carolina and Duke. But if you're a fan of Carolina, you haven't enjoyed it at all. The Big 3 are lighting up the Tar Heels so far.
If you want directions to the stadium, push here. If you want to see the weather ahead, push here. If you want to access 10 gigs of music you just downloaded to your hard drive, push here. And if you want to pull away from it all, you can push here. The all-new 40-gig hard drive nav and entertainment system on the 2010 LaCrosse from Buick. It's the new class of world class.
Stage creates the biggest drama. This summer, 31 countries will fall, and one will be crowned champion. Live from South Africa, the 2010 FIFA World Cup on ESPN, coming in June.
Choose America's top-rated BMW dealership, Cooney BMW, for certified pre-owned cars with finance rates as low as 0.9% APR. If you haven't been to Cooney BMW, ask someone who has. It's unbelievable. Cooney BMW in Beaverton.
I'm Mark, and this is my wife, Donna. 2 new Toyotas. That's what we're looking at for this weekend.
Your loyalty has helped make us the #1 car brand in America. So we're offering you our biggest thank you ever. Right now, you can get some of our best deals. See your Toyota dealer and get 0% APR financing for an amazing 60 months on 8 of your favorite Toyota models. Or choose $2,500 cash back on the new 2010 Tundra.
Choose America's top-rated BMW dealership, Cooney BMW, for certified pre-owned cars with finance rates as low as 0.9% APR. If you haven't been to Cooney BMW, ask someone who has. It's unbelievable. Cooney BMW in Beaverton.
Ryan Burr with Sports Center right now. Louisville officially closed Freedom Hall in style today, knocking off #1 Syracuse 78-68. Reserve Kyle Kuric led the way with a career-high 22 points. The Cards sweep Syracuse on the season. Upset of the day, it happened at Kansas State, shocked by Iowa State 85-82 in overtime. Back to Duke.
All right, Ryan, thank you. And as we talked about, it's 2 losses in a week for Kansas State, and maybe there goes their chance of a #1 seed, although they've still had a terrific season, and as hard as they play, they're a force to be reckoned with. A look at the top 10 in the country in the activity of the week. Syracuse losing today to Louisville. You've got Purdue, which had a close win over Penn State. West Virginia, an overtime win at Villanova today. A very big win for the Mountaineers.
And a win over Georgetown, so they had a big week for Bobby Huggins.
And speaking of Georgetown, by the way, Austin Freeman, diagnosed this week with diabetes, played today, scored 24 points in a lopsided win over Cincinnati. Short-term, long-term, we wish him the best on and off the court.
Yes, we do. We wish him nothing but the best. He can be an inspiration to a lot of young kids out there that are battling that disease. Tell you one thing, Louisville closed it in style. Where do you see Patino's Palace?
Is it nice?
I had a speaking engagement out there. They took me on a tour. I was blown away. I wonder how long it's going to take before they build Calipari's castle down there in Lexington.
Nolan Smith gone for the foul. Tomorrow, 2 Eastern on ESPNU. Women's basketball action for the Big East quarterfinals as Connecticut closes in on its own all-time winning streak. They've won 69 in a row. The record is 70. They will take on Syracuse in a quarterfinal. The Big East Women's Basketball Championship presented by New York Life are part of Championship Week tomorrow. And there's UConn, the women's team on the verge of history. Nolan Smith, are you serious? What a move!
Tell you one thing, he just keeps getting better and better and better. They look like a totally different team on this floor versus on the road. They really do to me. I know the numbers reflect it, but so impressive. When you watch them play out here right now, they look like they have a legit shot to win this national title this year.
Just froze Drew and then went right by him. Not to belabor the point, but after this dunk by Smith, the Big Three have 37 of the 40 Duke points.
Absolutely humiliating what they're doing out here right now. Playing really, look at the intensity. Chris Collins.
And something, an issue for Zubek as he comes out. Miles Plumlee back in, and yeah, they have been on fire. They've been on fire all season long, averaging better than 53 points per game. Averaging each of them better than 36 minutes per game. Already 37 points for the trio tonight.
Mike Krzyzewski doesn't want to hear about playing times. Doesn't want to hear about fatigue. He said these guys can play all day long.
Graves stops on a dime and the follow by Henson. And again, between the block shots, the dunks, the offensive rebounding, the potential is starting to seep through here with more playing time.
Yeah, you can see that John Henson really was rated as a great high school prospect. And you watch the kind of ability he has. He's got great skills for a big kid. He's just got to get stronger.
Away from the ball, a Carolina foul. We'll go to the under 4 media timeout. One of the all-time greats here at Duke. Christian Laettner in the house.
There he is, the big fella, yeah.
Every golfer's dream. A tradition.
UPS halftime report with Reese Davis, Hubert Davis, Jay Billis, and presumably the coaches will be there too. Coach Knight and Coach Phelps, MIA right now. Where are they, Reese? Reese has got a little more leg room, a little more airtime. He's all right. 19-point lead for Duke, 3:45 to go in the first half here on senior night at Cameron Indoor Stadium. And Roy Williams coaching for tonight, coaching for all the tomorrows. A young team. You know, this freshman class, 5 deep. They've had a difficult season, but they've got a lot of talent. He's bringing in some talent next year. It's been a difficult season for him. Health-wise as well. Remember the shoulder surgery, had his arm in a sling for several weeks. This year, Roy Williams won't hesitate, but he tells you it's been the toughest year of his coaching career.
I'll tell you one thing, though. They will be back. Trust me. He will not tolerate it. Harrison Barnes is going to be a major factor next year. You know, we showed Christian Leitner. Leitner's had 2,460 points in his career. We have right now John Scheyer closed it in. I will go on and tell you, I think he's the greatest player ever to play at Duke.
Wow.
And there's been some great ones.
Some good ones.
Because of winning. When you look at what he did, he defined his winning as well as his individual talents, inside, outside. You know, in my book with Dick Rice, I had him rated the second best in my 30 years at ESPN. Number 1, I had Patrick Ewing.
Scheyer, by the way, should have become the 10th Duke player to reach 2,000 points in his career. And steps by Thompson.
Just out of sync totally. Duke's defense has been very tough. At home here, they allow 60 points a game.
Well, you're going to keep us in suspense until the second half. Is it Scheyer or is it Vasquez?
You know what? I'm going to lay it on you in a little while. I'm getting close. I'm getting really close.
You know, I can see the steam coming off the VBDI.
No, it really is tough. I'm going to tell you, I really haven't seen a scenario where it's so tough to pick the player of the year. I think the Big East, for example, I like Scotty Reynolds. And go over. Is that a good call? You like
That's
it?
a good call, but, you know, a lot of people, as Singer knocks down another one. What a night for him. A lot of people would say, hey, Wesley Johnson, Syracuse, you can make a case for that as well. 19, by the way, for Singler.
Singler having a major performance here.
Strickland open for 3. Missed everything. Scheyer ahead to Smith.
Wow, nobody back. Nobody back. Run, baby, run. It's blowout city. For the next break, I'm going to tell you who the player of the year in the ACC is.
I'll tell you who the player of the night has been in this one. Kyle Singler's got 19 already.
Yeah, anybody could see that, huh? Even me with one eye. He's been inside, outside. Kyle Singler having a magical day. A great catch. He made like a wide receiver right there. Great hands. All right, I'm going to tell you right now, okay? Right. You want my choice? You want my choice as player of the year in the ACC? Well, I'm going to take you on a little journey. 2001. Who was the player of the year? His name? Shane Battier. Co-player of the year, along with a guy from North Carolina, Joseph Forte. When both clubs, because the Sunday looks, unless a miracle happens, they're going to finish in a dead flat-out tie. Yep. I'm going to be Mr. Politician. They should make that a co-player of the year. Vasquez and Scheyer should get the co-player of the year, you know, like in 2001.
I think justice would be served if that happened. Their numbers are so close. It looks like their teams, as you said, are going to tie. The scoring and assists ever so slightly favoring Vasquez. The turnovers are higher for Vasquez. Vasquez's numbers have gone up a little as the season's gone along. Scheyer's have come down, but either one of these guys is a worthy winner.
You know, I really think when you look at, you like to really give to the victor all the spoils. And both clubs first place, I have no problem having them share that award. I really don't. Just like Battier and Forte did. I did research to find out had they had a co-player of the year, and they did it in 2001. I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to do my Super 7 All-Americans. Vasquez and Scheyer are both on that club.
There you go.
Hey, I know you like that. I see what you're saying. I like that.
I counted the basket on that one. Graves. He's the best shooter North Carolina has.
Not a good shot, though, is it?
No, we got a foul by Thomas. That's the second air ball by Carolina in about a minute. We saw a month ago tense in Krzyzewskiville for this game, not for the next Duke game, for this game. It doesn't matter to the Crazies if Carolina's up or Carolina's down. All of these undergrads, they haven't seen a win over Carolina in this building because Carolina's won 4 in a row.
I mean, they act like crazy sitting there as you watch them sitting outside, having a ball in their tents. Those are the future leaders of our nation. They are the future corporate giants, the doctors, the lawyers. Hey, Dan, you got to have like about 1450 on your SATs to even get considered. I mean, are you kidding me? I took him 3 times to get 1,500.
You think that guy got a 1450?
Wow, look at this guy. He's probably 1,600. He probably blanked the test.
They know how to have fun. We know that. And Duke looking for a share of the regular season title with the Terps and the #1 seed heading into the ACC tournament in Greensboro. Carolina, if my math is correct with all the tiebreaker scenarios, a loss tonight, and I believe Carolina would be the #10 seed, dropping below Virginia on a tiebreaker. Scheyer to Zubak doesn't get any prettier than that.
Really a great job passing the ball inside. I had someone ask me, do you think North Carolina will get in the NIT? I said, are we going to start talking about on the bubble for the NIT now? I mean, come on.
And Roy Williams has said if they get an invite, they will go. Carolina obviously is going to have to win the ACC tournament to make the NCAA.
I tell you, Zubak has given him another dimension with his rebounding prowess. He really has. That size has really worn people down.
Yep. 4 big bodies with Zubak, Thomas, and the Plumlees.
They've had to have one really bad performance against Georgetown.
That Georgetown shoot about 71%. Scheyer. And the rebound to Graves. Sheyer's got 7 assists already in this game.
They had a great performance against Gonzaga, though.
Turnaround Travis Ware, line drive off the rim.
You know, I remember the committee saying, you got to really utilize the eye test sometimes. What you see in a team and what you see in this Duke team, even in a loss against Maryland, both clubs played so hard and played so well. With your eyes, you could see there were 2 quality teams.
Duke will run it down just a second or so, separating the game clock and the shot clock. What a first half here on senior night. Smith. And a foul.
They're really doing a great job with their motion offensively.
ABC is your home for the NBA Sunday Showcase, and it's a rematch of last year's finals, the Los Angeles Lakers and the Orlando Magic. It begins at 2:30 Eastern Time, and the coverage begins at 2 Eastern with the GMC Sierra NBA Countdown.
J.J. Redick getting some playing time.
Yes, he is.
Some good minutes there now with the match. I like that Magic. You gotta love Dwight Howard.
Watts and Strickland back in for Carolina. That was the 3rd foul on Larry Drew II, who so far in the first half, just 3 points, does not have an assist. A tough 20 minutes here for the Carolina point guard.
The last time Duke beat them by 30 or more was back in 1964.
Wow.
You weren't even around.
No, that's true. Ginyard as time expires at the end of the half. Still 53-26. Duke demolishing Carolina here at the half on senior night at Cameron, and the big 3, 46 of the 53. Aaron Andrews is with Duke Associate Head Coach Chris Collins.
Dan, thanks. Huge first half for the big 3, particularly Kyle Singler. What's been key for him so far?
Well, I think the guys have been patient. It's such an emotional night. I thought they did a good job of taking what was there. We made some shots early, which really helped, and we played great defense.
Chris, when you have a lead like this going into the half, what do you stress it for the second half?
Well, the score's got to be 0-0. This team runs up and down. You let up for a minute, that you can get 8-10 points. We got to keep playing defense in the second half.
Thanks for your time.
All right.
All right.
Aaron, thank you. It's halftime here at Cameron. Saturday primetime presented by DirecTV. Duke up 27. Coming up next, the UPS halftime report with Reese and the gang.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball.
Go home, because I remember once I lost the game 94-29 and we're down 41 at halftime, and he beat me by 65.
Hey, I told you to quit pressing 5 minutes into the game. Don't give me that crap. I tried to bail you out of it.
Let me say this, though. If you look at Duke and they get 25 points off of Carolina turnovers and second chance points in the first half, that's a lot of points, Bob.
Hey, you know, there are 2 things where North Carolina, however, statistically is ahead of Duke in personal fouls fouls committed and turnovers committed. They have a higher number than the Dukes do.
I got to tell you, I want to talk about the game, but when I see that two-shot of you guys, I'm wondering when the Fox touchdown. When do we release the hound?
Hey, you Jack Lemon. And you're the other guy.
Walter Matthau.
Walter
Matthau.
This is
And you
us.
better hope my shotgun
Are
is
we
loaded.
better than the game? Are we better than the game? We're better than the game.
I think so. I mean, hey, here, I don't want this damn thing.
I don't want it. Hey, listen, you guys had better stop doing this. You're going to put us out here for the entire second half to entertain America. 53-27. Hey, Syracuse and Louisville, the finale at Freedom Hall. Syracuse #1 in the nation. Boeheim knew this was going to be a very difficult game to win.
Phyllis, who is that guy?
That is Kyle Curry. That is the guy who caddies at Valhalla. He's channeling his inner Darrell Griffith. 78-68. #1 goes down. The last game in Freedom Hall. Louisville is a winner by 10. Keurig off the bench with 22 points. West Virginia and Villanova. Over 10 seconds to go. Deshaun Butler hit one, and then we see Corey Stokes hitting the shot to tie it 66 all now. And here goes Butler into the paint, Hubert.
Well, he's one of the best guards in the country. Late game situation, and Scotty Reynolds been clutch all year. Had a wide open three from the corner.
Nope.
Misses it.
Would have won it, did not. West Virginia 68-60.
Welcome back to Duke, and welcome back to Saturday Primetime, presented by DirecTV. You knew with Carolina being here, with this being senior night for Scheyer, Zubek, and Thomas, there would be so much emotion. Duke they've ridden the wave, and they just blew out Carolina in that
Well,
first
they
half.
blew them out because they shot the ball so well. 16 for 31 from the field, 14 for 15 from the free throw line. They made 7 threes, and the big three have been absolutely awesome with a capital A. They have been fantastic. Singler, Scheyer, and Nolan Smith.
And Carolina was actually riding a bit of momentum coming into this game. They had won 2 in a row at Wake, at home against Miami. They were looking to make a statement and continue the momentum into the ACC tournament in Greensboro, but that's looking like a near impossible task right now, given the way the first half went. 46 points in the first half for the big three. 19 for Singler, 16 for Smith, 11 and 7 assists without a turnover for Scheyer on his senior night.
You know, the offensive efficiency was really outstanding for Duke, and they got wide open shots for their big three.
Got a wide open look there for Smith. What a rebound by Zubek, fouled by Deion Thompson as we check in with Aaron Andrews.
Dan, I had a chance to speak with North Carolina head coach Roy Williams coming out of the half. I said, what was your message here for this second half? And he said, just compete. We didn't do that at all in the first half. He said, you know, we only shot 37%, out-rebounded by 10. They need to show some poise here in the second half.
Scheyer, no. And so both coaching staffs saying, hey, pretend it's 0-0, just get after it and work hard and see what happens here in the second half.
Well, if you're Roy Williams right now, you want his kids to play this game in segments. You say, let's play a little bit 5-minute segment. Let's see how we come out. Then we go another 5 minutes. I'm trying to play for a little respectability, a little pride.
The most lopsided win ever in this series, a 35-point win by Duke back in 1964. Singler, Zubek.
Zubek's become such a factor with that size, hanging around the basket. You can't teach 7 feet, man. That is a God-given, would you say talent?
10 rebounds for Zubek already, just a minute and a half into the second half. Henson takes the bump and finishes.
I really believe Henson's going to become a quality player. I think next year you're going to see this kid really elevate his game. Here he is right now, splitting the trap, falling away.
And Henson will head to the line. A 6'10", only 195 pounds, but a great leaper, a shot blocker. But he's got to get stronger if he's going to continue to improve.
You know, for the North Carolina faithful, and they certainly have their fans, I mean, it's going to get a lot better because I hear rave reviews about Bullock, about Marshall, and certainly about Harrison Barnes.
Singler, no.
He was wide open. Even, of course, that lane was wide open.
Well, Marshall is such a key, as you know, as well as anybody, how important point guard play is in college basketball. And next year, Roy Williams' 2 options at the point are Larry Drew and Kendall Marshall. Marshall described he's 6'4", not a blur, but a real true pass-first kind of point guard.
And Bullock will give him that kind of scoring. Ellington.
Zubak with a rejection.
Okay, Zubak's going to get an opportunity, possibly to play certainly overseas, but he'll get a look in the NBA with that size. He will get a look.
And again, playing the best basketball of his career here in the last 6 or 7 games.
And I think there's going to be certainly a place for John Scheyer and some club coming off the bench, shooting that open jump shot. All I ever hear about certain kids is what they can't do. We heard about Tebow all the time in football, what he can't do. We never hear about what those guys can do. All I know is I told Mike and Mike last Tuesday, I'm betting on Tebow to make it, and Scheyer's going to make somebody's club.
Yeah, you could do a lot worse with a second-round pick than picking him to play either the point or the 2 spot with the way he shoots the ball.
You know, not to be a star. We're not saying a star. We're saying a role player.
Graves. Off the shot clock, that'll be Duke's ball. Well, John Scheyer came to Duke with a big reputation as a scorer, but midway through last year, Mike Krzyzewski turned to him and said, I need you to be a point guard. And it wasn't like an overnight change for him. It took a while for him. Remember back at the beginning of this season, though, his assist-to-turnover ratio was so crazy, was so good. He was being talked about as a possible national player of the year. Don't think that's going to happen, but he's still got a shot, Dick. Wouldn't you agree to be a first-team All-American?
Oh, absolutely. I know he's going to make my first-team All-American when I announce my Super 7. Absolutely, the way he's played. You look at his numbers, wide open. That's what Roy Williams was talking about to Aaron Andrews. Where's the passion? Where's the pride? Where are you playing defense? Challenging guys, giving them open layups.
Singler with the drive and the pass. Zubak the score. Singler just got caught with an elbow in the nose, I think, by Graves, and a little shaken up, checking for blood at the other end. A reach-around foul on Lance Thomas, but Singler a little the worse for wear right now. Maybe it's just a contact that came out.
You know, you mentioned his
there it is right there.
Assist-to-turnover ratio, 2.8. He leads the conference right now, Scheyer.
So Singler, okay, just a contact that came out. He popped it back in.
Came out of Oregon. Remember, it was all about Singler and Kevin Love as scholastic superstars out of Oregon.
Lance Thomas will sit down with his 4th foul. Mason Plumlee in. And this is where Duke is better than in recent years. They can handle foul trouble in the front court. Nice shot again by Henson.
That was like acrobatic. I mean, he's throwing up some real acrobatic shots. In traffic.
9 points for Henson.
He was rated so high out of high school, wide open. I mean, wide open.
Lucky that didn't go down. Ginyard all the way. Here comes Scheyer.
Ginyard certainly hasn't been healthy throughout his career. Last 3 games, rebounded really well. When he was healthy early in his career, he was a defensive force.
And how frustrating it must have been for him last year to be hurt, not be an active part of the national championship team down the stretch, and then to endure more injuries in such a difficult season this year as a 5th-year senior.
You know, last year, as you just mentioned, North Carolina, they were like a Joe Louis, a Rocky Marciano, Muhammad Ali, a heavyweight. We don't have that kind of team this year.
Championship Week. The action continues through March 14th on ESPN.
Objects in this glass taste larger than they appear. Introducing Bud Light Golden Wheat. All the drinkability of Bud Light brewed with golden wheat for a refreshing new taste. Refreshing. Light. Flavorful. No matter how you look at it, this is huge. Bud Light Golden Wheat. Light beer, huge flavor.
All right, international shipping. Well, that means a lot of documents, waybills, and commercial invoices in triplicates. But if you go online with UPS, you can make that paperwork go away, making the process faster and easier to manage. Not to mention, you're saving a few trees. It's not just international shipping, it's paperless international shipping. But first, from UPS. There, now you're done.
There aren't many of us who use a cell phone just to make phone calls.
But when AT&T or Verizon offer you an unlimited plan for $69.99, that's all it's good for. Phone calls. With Sprint, for the same price, you get unlimited text, unlimited web, and unlimited calling to every mobile phone in America. Now that's more like it.
$69.99 for unlimited text, web, and calling to any mobile in America. Only from Sprint.
Luckily, State Farm has some helpful ways to plan for your future. Not just car insurance, but car loans and life insurance too.
It's a miracle.
Oops. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Duke up large on Carolina early second half. Mike Krzyzewski wearing a couple of lapel pins. The one on the right of your screen on his left lapel is in memory of a young man named Rory Deutsch. In 1997, Coach K was coaching at Michael Jordan's fantasy camp, and he's from Chicago, drafted a guy by the name of Ross Deutsch from Chicago to play on his fantasy team. They won the championship, became close friends. A few months later, Ross Deutsch found out that one of his three sons, then 6-year-old Rory, had a brain tumor. It was inoperable, and within months, at the age of 7, young Rory passed away. The family started a foundation. Mike Krzyzewski's an active part of that. They've raised over $7 million. Ross Deutsch sits on the chairman of the board at the medical clinic down here in Durham, one of the most renowned cancer and brain tumor facilities in the world, really, and they have become inseparable, the best of friends. The Deutsches have gone on to have 2 more children. They now have 2 boys and 2 girls, and just a tremendous closeness has come out of a tragedy for the Deutsch family. And a great column written by Andy Katz on ESPN.com just a couple of days ago. You can still find it about the relationship that developed and how Ross Deutsch has persevered through family tragedy, and how Mike Krzyzewski's been a part, and how each man has given to the other.
And I was so touched reading that. Andy did a phenomenal job. We sent our best out to the Deutsch family. Mike has got a heart of gold. Trust me, I know. This is a member of the Jimmy V Foundation Board of Directors. He's done an amazing job over the years. By the way, we're going to have a very touching scene at our event. We have now got Mark Hirsch. Did you see the story on Mark Hirschland? The kid that was a great player at Boston College. Yep. They did a feature. He's coming to our event. We're going to show the feature, and he's going to say a few words May 21st. And remember, Magic Johnson's coming. So if you want tickets, people, go to my website, dickvitelonline.com. Help us beat cancer.
Henson into Zeller, and another Carolina turnover.
I can only simply describe this game one word for North Carolina. Ugly.
I think Roy Williams would share your sentiment, my friend.
I feel so bad for Roy because I know what a winner he is, what a competitor, and I just don't see the kind of effort out of North Carolina that you expect as he talked to Aaron about at halftime. Competing and playing with a lot of heart.
Singler competing.
Look at that wide open shot.
21 for him.
Are you serious? Wide open shot. I mean, he's like, gets any shot he wants here tonight.
By the way, Singler is a junior, but of course some speculation, as Henson jams it, that Singler could opt to turn pro. This is not his senior night. He was not part of the festivities. That belonged to Scheyer and Thomas and Zubik, but you wonder if Singler's going to be back for 1 more year.
I really do believe he'll be back because he's not charted very high in the ratings. They're looking at him as a second-round choice, and I think that he'd do himself a lot better coming back to school for another year. He can stroke that jump shot. He can really stroke it. He went through a little down cycle.
I bet you we'll have a chant of 1 more year before this night is done for that guy.
We're going to put you there with the Kevin Crazies. Did you have 1,400 USATs?
No.
Yeah,
I'm a lot safer up here with you. Aaron can handle the Crazies.
I know one thing. Your children have 1,400 up there. They take after the mother.
That's right. Thank God for that. Travis Ware turns it over. Scheyer. And he'll shoot a couple.
Third best free throw shooter career-wise at Duke. Number 1, 90% J.J. Redick. And number 2, the Alaskan Assassin, Trajan Langdon. And right behind him by 1/10 of a point, John Scheyer. I can see his grandmother and grandfather right now jumping up with joy, cheering. That's our kid. That's our kid. Grandparents get so proud of their young ones.
Mike Krzyzewski told us a story that every senior, 2 nights before their last home game, Coach K's wife and daughters take the seniors out for dinner, for a nice dinner, and they ask them all a bunch of questions. And one of Coach K's daughters said to John Scheyer, "What has been the highlight of your career at Duke?" And John Scheyer's answer was, "It hasn't happened yet." This is a program in the last 4 years since Scheyer's been here. They have not made a Final Four. Last time they were there is 2004 by Duke standards. That's a drought. John Scheyer said he thinks his highlight is still to come.
And he also said that VCU game, Virginia Commonwealth game, was really such a major disappointment.
The first round loss in the NCAA's a couple of years ago.
Eric Maynard, who's now playing in the NBA.
32-point lead for Duke.
And they're really playing defense like they're right now down 10.
A win tonight. Duke shares the regular season championship of the ACC with Maryland, which beat Virginia in a tough game today in Charlottesville. Duke would get the #1 seed in the ACC tournament in Greensboro upcoming by virtue of a tiebreaker. Carolina looking like the 10 seed right now. Zeller a miss, Scheyer a rebound.
That's hard to fathom, really. Hard to comprehend when you hear North Carolina as a 10th seed in the ACC.
And by the way, from what I understand from tiebreakers, Virginia Tech locked into the 4 spot. They'll get a bye. Clemson, if they beat Wake tomorrow, gets the 3. If Clemson loses, Florida State gets the 3. Scheyer knows. Singler a one-handed rebound over Ware, and he'll reset.
You mentioned that game tomorrow, Clemson and Wake Forest. I really believe that's a big game for Wake. They've lost 4 in a row now, Dan. I mean, you lose 5 in a row going into the tournament. That is a danger time.
Just 2 regular season games remaining in the ACC tomorrow, and the one of note is Clemson at Wake Forest. Here's Duke trying to move into a tie with Maryland. They are on their way. Florida State again could wind up 3rd through 5th, depending on the Clemson result tomorrow.
The VBDI says Maryland, Duke, Florida State, Virginia Tech, Clemson all in. Wake Forest a chance. They better win tomorrow. Georgia Tech has to get hot in the ACC tournament and get a couple of wins, and they still have a chance. The one drawback you hear about Virginia Tech certainly is their pre-conference schedule, but they've made that up with their play in league play.
Strickland coming out, getting some medical attention, appears to be shaken up. Graves was getting iced earlier. He came in with a sprained right ankle. Thompson's playing with a bad back. Leslie McDonald's out with a bad hamstring. Strickland in some discomfort as they tend to him. Ed Davis out with a broken wrist. David Ware out for the season with a hip problem. They don't have enough bodies to practice with right now. There has not been one player in the Carolina rotation who has been healthy all season long. But all that having been said, that's still no excuse for 67-33.
Well, I'm telling you this, there are a lot of teams have bumps and bruises. I mean, that's a way of life at this time of the year. I mean, a major injuries when you look at the kid Davis.
Broken wrist, done for the year. Zeller from 18 feet away, a 7-footer with nice touch, post skills, just a sophomore, a lot of upside for Tyler Zeller if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, you really expect him to break out. He's got some good skills for a big player, as you said, Coach Sherman.
Andre Dawkins back in for Duke.
Carolina's season low this year is 51 against Georgia Tech.
Singler is fouled by Ware. He'll be going to the line when we come back as Duke continues to pour it on North Carolina on senior night here at a deliriously happy Cameron Indoor Stadium.
When we make shots, you in our house, we can't be stopped. I think the J.
The biggest stage creates the biggest drama this summer. Live from South Africa, the 2010 FIFA World Cup on ESPN, coming in June.
First and second round coverage of the Masters April 8th and 9th on ESPN.
He is a master driver. His job is to measure what computers cannot. How a car moves you. Emotionally. Because that is the ultimate luxury. The newly redesigned Infiniti G Coupe. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infiniti.
Burr in studio with the Sports Center in-game. Butler looking to win the Horizon, stay unbeaten. Zach Hahn from deep three gets the friendly roll. And Butler will move into the final where they will get Wright State with the 68-59 win over Milwaukee. Murray State has punched their ticket with an 11-point win in the OVC, beating Morehead State. Now 4 teams have punched their tickets into March Madness. Gentlemen.
And right on cue, here they are. Ryan Cornell winning the Ivy. Congratulations to the Big Red. Winthrop winning earlier today over Coastal Carolina in the Big South. East Tennessee State over Mercer. And as Ryan just told you, Murray State over Morehead State. He mentioned Butler. That Butler championship game is a big game. Obviously, if they win, they're in. If they lose, they're still in. But that takes away a spot from a bubble team.
Absolutely.
So all the bubble teams are hoping that the favorites in some of the mid or smaller conferences win out.
East Tennessee State's coached by Murray Bartow. Beat Mercer. Bob Hoffman had a chance to speak down there at their facility. It's gorgeous down in Mercer. Really beautiful.
Singler piling up the points. 25.
There is no mystery, my friend. The 4-game drought 4 years in a row here against North Carolina is going to be tucked away.
Travis Ware back from an ankle injury that cost him a few weeks.
Zubek keeps getting those rebounds, man. He keeps adding up those rebounds.
That's a dozen.
He had 16 points and 17 rebounds in a win over Maryland here earlier.
Got another rebound.
That's right. Give him the ball. He deserves to shoot one. Rebounding away. Are you serious? Are you serious, Mr. Zubek? He's making like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with a little jump hook.
Points, 13 boards for Zubek on his senior night as well. Ware with a tough off-balance shot, but he draws the foul.
I tell you, he deserved the ball down in that low post, Zubek. He really did. There he is, the big fella calling for the ball. Now he's going to step out. He's going to step out the little jump hook. There he is, everything he's doing. I tell you, he came out of high school with a big-time reputation, but then had all those injuries. He had both feet, I believe, broke both feet at one time.
But you saw the numbers in his last 7 or 8 games, the best numbers he's posted in his career. Ryan Kelly will get some time here as Singler comes out.
Ryan Kelly was a highly rated player out of high school, local kid. Singler gets a little break, gets a little TO.
And now Ware will be replaced by Thompson.
I think we're going to start thinking about All-American teams tonight. I think I got to get on Mr. Producer, Mr. Dean, who's done a great job on these Saturday night productions. We get a little All-American team together. He and Doug Holmes, what a combination.
Calling the truck out on the air, Dickie V. How about that? That's low ball.
No, they do a great job.
They do a great job.
Terrific tandem.
Jeff Dufine and Bonnie Riley, Kate Leonard, Joe McCoy was with us earlier, Tyler Churchill. We've got a great crew. We've got We've got a number one seed of television crews in the truck with us here on the Saturday night games.
We got the national championship team.
Yeah.
The national championship team. Wow, look, our names are up there. I can't believe our names are on TV.
You say nice things about
our
it.
names are on TV. Wow.
Thompson over Kelly. In and out. Carolina gets it back.
Hey, my friend, there's nothing like March Madness. It is by far the best of them all.
Zubak a foul, not a popular call. Here to Cameron, number 3 on the big guy.
You know, we had a party at my house for the Orioles. Welcome to Sarasota. I was going to watch Dawkins with the drive. You know what all they wanted to talk about? Was March Madness.
Really?
March Madness, that's all. I wanted to talk baseball.
Well, are they Maryland fans? Being from Baltimore, are they Terps fans?
Yeah, a lot of them did like the Terps.
Yeah.
They did like the Terps. They have a lot to like. Tomorrow I'm going to see the Red Sox, man, or the Orioles.
The environment in which you have to shoot free throws here at Cameron.
But if you can shoot it, it doesn't matter. The shooters don't care about the screaming and the yelling. Why don't you hear a baseball guy? Come back with me. Get back. We'll go back tonight. We'll see the Red Sox tomorrow.
Singler. That was Thompson, I believe, on the rejection. Here comes Henson.
Nice pass.
And Drew can't finish. Henson.
Hey, one thing, he utilizes either hand.
Yeah, he does. He's playing well tonight.
He's
one of the few
active.
bright spots for Carolina.
He's very active. He's the only bright spot I've seen thus far, other than a coach. The coach is coaching his heart out like it's a one-point game.
Well, as Bob Knight said at halftime, the only 2 categories Carolina was winning at the half, fouls and turnovers. They have committed more of each, and they just added to their turnover total. That's number 11.
You know what else I like? The general said at halftime? Watch out for Cornell. Cornell, Randy Whitman's son, Ryan Whitman, could shoot the rock. They could be a dangerous team for some major club.
Jim Boeheim sang their praises to us a couple of months ago. They played them early in the season. They were a very difficult out.
Jim Boeheim's my coach of the year. They were projected to be 6th in a conference this year, and they rose to be number 1, even though that was for a short time. But he's my national coach of the year.
Men's college basketball continues tomorrow at 2 Eastern. You know, Bo Ryan almost annually could be considered for coach of the year. Number 17 to Wisconsin will travel to Champaign to take on Illinois. 2 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow here on ESPN.
You know, Illinois has been a little bit of a slide lately, but Illinois had a win at Wisconsin, which was a major win. But now they got John Lure back, and that's a big plus for the Badgers.
It'll be interesting to see between Ohio State, Purdue, Michigan State, Wisconsin, who makes a run of the Big Ten tournament and who really helps their seeding for the big dance. Well, you're looking at the 3 seniors, Thomas, Scheyer, Zubak. A big night for all of them. You know they'll come in one more time and then come out one more time to get their last ovation here at Cameron. Henson in transition. Thompson follows up and is fouled.
He got fouled. I had 2 interesting interviews. You would have really enjoyed them. 2 really good guys interviewed me yesterday. One from the Wall Street Journal was talking about venues. It was talking about the Palestra that I brought up here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. How we don't see enough of these kind of venues. We have more of the magical places now, like the NBA kind of places, 20-some thousand. And I love these environments. And then the other interview I did with the New Yorker, it was about, you know, what makes certain coaches such big-time successes. He was talking about John Calipari in Kentucky, and I brought up, you know, the Caliparis, the Roy Williams, the Mike Krzyzewskis. They have one magical gift: communicators. They really have a way of communicating their concepts to their people to get them to respond.
100%. 34-point lead. Singler lost it to Ginyard. Haven't said his name in a long time. Watts. And it's a block on Kelly.
You just don't see any kind of rhythm offensively. Pass the ball, cut, screen, and Roy's still coaching his heart out.
You can see Mike Krzyzewski in the background calling a 30-second timeout.
2 Hall of Famers, 2 genuine Hall of Famers.
The rout continues here for the Blue Devils.
It begins with a brushstroke, a simple yet powerful line, uniting engineering and emotion. connecting driver to road. Separating Infiniti from every other luxury car in the world. The newly redesigned Infiniti G sedan. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infiniti.
I'm Anna, leader of the visitors. Thank you again for welcoming us to your world. We have to fight them one step at a time.
One of the fall's biggest new series is back. ABC's V. They return Tuesday, March 30th on ABC.
Coming up on SportsCenter, we introduce you to the 3 newest teams to punch their dance card. Louisville closes out Freedom Hall with a huge win, while Villanova may have lost more than a game. Mavericks hoping to be like Spinal Tap and take their win streak to 11. SportsCenter.
Get a new ride and get free riding. Buy or lease any new Subaru through March 31st and get 2 Mount Hood Fusion Spring Passes. You'll love unlimited skiing or riding at both Ski Bowl and Timberline through Memorial Day. And you'll love how your symmetrical all-wheel drive gives you confidence tackling any driving conditions. We're so sure you'll love the new 2010 lineup, we'll give you a free lift ticket just for taking a test drive. You'll love your new Subaru, the official vehicle of Mount Hood.
I'm Mark, and this is my wife, Donna. 2 new Toyotas. That's what we're looking at for this weekend.
Your loyalty has helped make us the #1 car brand in America. So we're offering you our biggest thank you ever. See your Toyota dealer and get 0% APR financing for an amazing 60 months.
Kicking off #1 Syracuse 78-68. Louisville likely securing their bid into the NCAA tournament. Upset of the day, Kansas State shocked at home by Iowa State 85-82 in overtime. And guys, coming up at 12 a.m., Joe Lunardi will have his latest edition of First 4 In, First 4 Out. Plus, the guys will debate the #1 seed least likely to make it to the Final Four. We're back at midnight, guys.
Hey, Ryan, I want to know one thing. Does Joe Lunardi get a chance to eat? I mean, the guy's unbelievable. He's a workaholic. Joe Lunardi in. Oh.
At the beginning of the day, by the way, our resident bracketologist, Mr. Lunardi, had 7 ACC teams in. So that includes Virginia Tech, which obviously solidified its resume with a win at Georgia Tech today. That includes Wake Forest, which has lost 4 in a row. And that includes Georgia Tech, which lost at home today. And their strength of schedule is pretty good, but boy, they've had some ups and downs and perplexing performances this year.
Well, you know, losing 5 of your last 7, I think really puts you a little bit on the outs, and depending on what happens in some of these tournaments, that could be dangerous. You know, everybody talks about how down the ACC is, but the one thing is, they got a lot of clubs down that 30 to 40 category.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by DirecTV. It'll change your life. Call 1-800-DirecTV. And in part by Infiniti, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance.
Oh, Rich.
Hola, amigo. It's me, your TV. Just pulled the plug on your cable to show you something sweet. With DirecTV, get a DVR that stores twice as many shows as cable. So load it up. Sports, soaps, absolutely. Reality show marathon, not my thing, but cool. Lots of movies, why not? You got the room. Stop limiting yourself. Give them a call and check out that deal. DirecTV, it'll change your life.
Master driver. His job is to measure what computers cannot. How a car moves you emotionally. Because that is the ultimate luxury. The newly redesigned Infiniti G Coupe. This is inspired performance. This is the way of Infiniti.
To all the happiness and luck that life can hold, and at the end of your rainbow, a pot of gold. Happy St. Paddy's Day from Triple Hops Brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
John, your car's here.
Go get him, Tiger.
When you're hitting the road for business,
Good luck.
Enterprise will pick you up and get you on the road to success. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Well, about a month ago, they started lining up, so to speak, pitching their tents for tickets to this game tonight, 73-40. And there's the inhabitant of tent number 14, who waited a long time for her seat and obviously had plenty of time to make
a sign in tent number 14. NIT, that's got to hurt Carolina fans. Yeah, Roy Williams not in Kansas anymore. Now, let's not forget he's won 2 national championships in Carolina. Say uncle. Pretty creative stuff here. And boy, this has been a tough pill to swallow if you're a fan of North Carolina. This has been an old-fashioned beatdown here tonight at Cameron to the tune of 73-40.
Well, you know, the last time Duke was in the Final Four was 2004. Since that time, Roy Williams has won 2 national titles, and he's been to the Final Four 3 times.
And of course, what was it, 8-9 years ago, Dick, where Carolina had a couple of down years and Duke was at its peak, and things are cyclical and they go back and forth, but one thing you know is neither one of these programs is going to be down for very long.
No, they get healthy quickly. Just like a Notre Dame can in football or Texas, great programs can get healthy quickly.
Away from the ball, a foul on Justin Watts of North Carolina. The 3 seniors, by the way, have checked back in. Thomas, or at least Thomas and Scheyer have. Zubek is still on the bench, but this is the final home game for all 3 of those Duke players.
You know, Duke's had an NBA high 14 players on NBA opening night rosters. But ready for this? Those alums have combined for an NBA salary in excess of $82 million.
This year.
Wow. I'd like to get 5% of that, baby. Wow. See, Mike Krzyzewski should be the agent for that. He should get at least 1% of that $82 million. He helped to make them some stars. He doesn't need any more cash, though. He doesn't need any more cash.
Smith. Blocked by Thompson. And Carolina comes up with it.
Just sitting here thinking, since we got a blowout, do you think that if Mike Krzyzewski wanted a Nets job, that he can get himself a nice piece of change?
There's no question, but he seems pretty happy right where he's at.
Oh, he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. He loves it here, loves living in this area, and he represents this university. He fits the puzzle perfectly, just like Roy does at Carolina, Mike Bray at Notre Dame.
Thomas with the foul, and Lance Thomas has fouled out, so his career here at Cameron has come to a close.
Tell you what, he's been a solid player for them. Not a lot of publicity, not a lot of notoriety, but a lot of W's. How many is 105 coming into tonight?
A great career over 4 years in the support role. Mom looking on here at Cameron.
Plus he's getting a degree from one of the finest private schools in America.
Every team needs a guy like him, just to do the dirty work, a blue-collar kind of guy.
Well, guys like, you know, you talk about Zubek, the Plumlees, the Thomases. You don't win big unless you have those guys rebound. Right now, they got the best rebounding margin in the ACC.
The lead is 30 for the Blue Devils. Just over 6 minutes to go here on Senior Night in Cameron. Duke's going to go on to share the ACC regular season crown with Maryland. Duke will be the 1 seed in the ACC tournament. Maryland, number 2.
I really get a kick out of all the people that really get so upset whenever you praise Duke. They don't want to hear about it, and that's just that little envy. I mean, when you think about their success like the Yankees, like the Notre Dame for years in football, people don't want to see teams that are up on top of that mountain.
Scheyer frees himself and hits another one. You know, you make a great point. There's a perception that Duke has been a little bit down recently compared to some of the things they've accomplished. They have won 7 of the last 13 ACC regular season titles and 8 of the last 11 ACC tournament championships. That's pretty good.
Not bad. And they also average about 25 wins a year. Yeah. Hey, talking about a lot of wins, can you believe this? Florida plays Kentucky tomorrow. Florida, in a scenario, the last 2 years won 49 games. They've already got 20. They have a chance to win 70 games in 3 years and may not have an NCAA bid. 70 W's.
Win tomorrow would sure help. Nolan Smith with 20.
I love his development. He has just become a star. And wait till next year when he accepted that kid Irving. My guy Super Garf, Mr. Garfinkel, he raves about Kyrie Irving. He goes on and on.
Mason Plumlee a block. Deion Thompson cleans it up.
He line drive that baby home.
Scheyer, Singler, and Smith, super scintillating and sensational. As you said earlier, 63 of the 78 points.
When all three are playing well, you got no chance to beat them. You got to hope that one of the three is going to be subpar. Because when they're all playing well, it opens up spacing. It helps other players inside get layups like we saw with Zubek.
You know, they don't foul either. You rarely remember these guys getting in foul trouble. All three of them play huge minutes.
Interference.
Basket interference on Miles Plumlee.
Also, they're dangerous in a close game because they shoot free throws so well. Take a look at those numbers. Wow.
Came into the game tonight just behind the trio at Notre Dame for the top scoring threesome in the country, but I didn't see the box score. But given what we know from this game and that Notre Dame, even though they won, didn't score a whole lot in that game, I got to believe Duke has now moved past them as the highest scoring trio in the country. Good hands by Zubek, who is checked back in as we go to the under 4 media timeout here at Cameron. It has been a whole lot of fun for everybody here at Cameron all night long.
If you were to stand at a road and the cars are whipping by, and all you can do is take a snapshot of the way the road looked 5 minutes ago, how would you know when to cross the road? 9 out of 10 organizations still make decisions this way every day, using out-of-date information. The organizations that are most competitive are going to be the ones that can make sense of what they learn as fast as they learn it. That's what I'm working on. I'm an IBMer. Let's build a smarter planet.
Classic in the 30th Big East Championship. Overtime number 6.
Unbelievable.
What a game.
Championship week. The action continues through March 14th on ESPN.
Coming up on SportsCenter, we introduce you to the 3 newest teams to punch their dance card. Louisville closes out Freedom Hall with a huge win, while Villanova may have lost more than a game. Mavericks hoping to be like Spinal Tap and take their win streak to 11. SportsCenter.
Davis with the baseball pass left side. Broken up by Monroe, and it's over. And the college in Charleston has upset North Carolina.
It's sad to me to see that North Carolina has got to this level.
This is a North Carolina team that may have been preseason top 5, but make no doubt, they're not at all the same club they were a year ago.
My gosh, guys, how can we go any lower? I mean, to be honest, how could it be any worse than it is right now?
And hard to imagine it getting any worse for North Carolina. They'll drop to 16 and 15, finish 5 and 11 in league play. Only 8 miles apart, but boy, it seems like 8 million miles the way things have gone this year. Duke, a possible number 1 seed. North Carolina may be lucky to get into the NIT.
Absolutely. They are on the bubble for the NIT.
The NIT bubble, not a conversation you hear often in Chapel Hill.
You know what's interesting? It'd be interesting to see if they can get 1 win in the ACC tournament, because they got a streak going. I think it's the last 5 years they've won at least 1 game in the tournament. I feel sorry. This guy has such passion, such feeling, such love for the university. And what he's watching is going to tear his insides apart. I mean, you think about Michael Jordan and James Worthy and all the greats, the Phil Fords, watching this kind of display of basketball in a North Carolina uniform is going to tear them apart.
Ryan Zubek comes out. The senior finishing his Cameron career.
Tell you one thing, you got to really be proud, that family of Zubek, the way he battled to get to give them quality minutes. So a lot of people could have given up on that kid.
13 rebounds tonight for Zubek in his final home game.
Ted has great chemistry on his team, but winning will do that. Winning will bring about that chemistry. I think Gary Williams said it to me once the best. He said, the one thing about Duke, you can beat them, but you are never ever going to play Duke where you don't get a supreme effort. And that's a tribute to Mike Krzyzewski.
In-yard to Henson, who has to adjust the shot, is fouled by Miles Plumlee.
And that's a special gift that you have. And Bob Knight had that as well.
Tomorrow at 2 Eastern on ESPNU, the Connecticut women continue their run towards a possible record as they seek their 70th consecutive win that would tie their own record set several years back. It's in the quarterfinals of the Big East Championship against Syracuse.
You know, certain coaches, I remember Bob throughout his career, the one thing, you may beat them, but they're going to play with incredible passion and pride all the time.
A 33-point lead for Duke. The crowd erupting as Jordan Davidson, a grad student, a guy who just never plays, is going to come in likely for Scheyer, who's going to get an even bigger ovation here in his final game at the Cameron.
Scheyer closing in on that 2,000 mark at Duke. There's only been some special guys that have been in that category.
Smith the pull-up. Plumlee, and he pushed off. So now with the whistle, Davidson will check in. And Scheyer will come out. 20 points, 7 assists for him in his final home game. And
look at
Mom and Dad pretty emotional. They've been on this journey for 22 years, but for the last 4 years at Duke.
Not to be proud of, not because he's a fine basketball player, but just listen to Coach K talk about him as a person.
Yeah.
How to break the hearts of the people of Illinois when they didn't get him. Mr. Basketball in Illinois, played for Bruce Weber's brother.
And now Duke will milk the clock, be patient. This one was really never in doubt from the moment it began.
From the layup drills.
And for these Duke players, this will be the first time any of them has ever beaten North Carolina. Davidson, well, that would be the cherry on the sundae right there if he could knock down a shot.
Pass.
Henson stripped by Davidson.
Coach K getting 8:59 tonight, closing that gap. He'll be the first guy in men's basketball, barring any illness or anything, to win 1,000 games. He has so much more coaching in him. He's got this program in such high gear. He'll win his close to 30 every year. You know what I'm thinking of right now? The kid Irving. He must be sitting there saying, I can't wait. I can't wait to put that uniform on and join Nolan Smith next year.
Kyrie Irving out of St. Pat's in New Jersey will be the point guard for this team next year. Smith floats it up. Miles Plumlee, that's the exclamation point of the night.
Let me just tell you this. If they got 5 better than Irving, they should get the NCAA championship automatically, according to all the reviews I'm hearing from people.
Short term, Duke's going to head into Greensboro as the number 1 seed with a chance for a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Christian Laettner having some fun. He was a part of some pretty special teams here.
He got his little son there. He'll be a future Dookie. He's probably shooting a J right now. I'll tell you one thing. To me, Duke is the number 1 seed. I really believe that.
Do they have to win the ACC tournament?
You know, depending on what happens with Purdue, I still think you got to give Purdue a look, even without Humble, if they were to win the Big Ten. But I don't believe they have to win the ACC to get that number 1. I think if they go and win 2 games there, I think they've earned it. When you look at that resume and body of work and the eye test, they look like a number 1.
Miles Plumlee comes out. Steve Johnson has come in for Duke. Casey Peters has come in as well, and Roy Williams has emptied his bench also.
How good has this conference been? The ACC's had a team in the Final Four in 10 of the last 13 years.
And look at the long faces on the other side. For every sweet victory, there's a cruel defeat. And boy, what a way to end the regular season for such a proud program.
They've had so much success. Nobody's going to feel sorry. When you're up on top and they can knock you down, whether it be Duke, Carolina, Kansas, they're going to come after you.
Well, again, if my tiebreaker math is right, Carolina's looking at the 10 seed in a game against Georgia Tech, the 7-10 game of the first round of the ACC tournament. Duke would await the winner, I believe, of BC and Virginia in the 8-9 game.
ACC tournament titles, Duke 17, North Carolina 17. I think that becomes a big game for Georgia Tech. That becomes a must, I really believe.
Shot clock turned off. Senior night has been a rip-roaring 2-hour party here at Cameron for the Crazies, with Scheyer, Thomas, and Zubek finishing their home careers in style.
They were absolutely sensational tonight. Man, it's been great working with you all year. Another regular season, 31 for me in the books. I want to thank Phil and Doug, all the guys in the truck. Another great regular season comes to an end.
Our thanks to everyone down in the truck. A great crew. We're going to see most of them in Greensboro for the ACC Tournament. Championship Week is on the horizon here on the ESPN family of networks. And Duke has locked up a share of the ACC regular season crown and the number 1 seed going into the ACC Tournament. There are 2 games going on tomorrow. Clemson can get a bye, can move into the top 4 if they win at Wake Forest tomorrow. If they lose, they'll drop down to the 6th spot. Florida State would stay in the 3, so there's still some things to be decided, but you get the idea. This is based on how they stand right now. 82-50 Duke. John Scheyer with Aaron Andrews.
All right, Dan, thanks so much. Well, we'll get to the game first. What was key tonight for such a great start that led to this blowout?
I thought our defense was the key. I mean, we were all over the place. Our bigs protected the basket, and offensively we shared the ball, and that's how we need to play.
We saw the emotion from you, from Coach K, even your parents in the beginning and at the end of the game. Put into words what it was like to be a part of this for your final night against North Carolina.
It's unbelievable. I was just trying to soak it in. Obviously, I was focused on the game. But you look around, there's no other place like it to play here, and it was great to get this win and end up undefeated at home.
A tremendous night as well for the Big Three. What has it been like playing with those 2 guys this year?
I mean, they're great to play with. We have great chemistry. We really play off each other well, and they're really talented guys, and we have a lot of different strengths that make each other better. So tonight before a game, we said we need to put it all together, all 3 of us, and we did.
There's a lot of talk now. Will you guys get the number 1 seed in the tournament? Talk about what kind of momentum this gives you heading into the ACC and the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, it helps, obviously, to get a good win like this, but we need to move on. Obviously, ACC tournament is tough, and then wherever we go in the NCAA tournament, that's fine with us. We'll be ready to go.
Congratulations on a great regular season career. We'll see you in Greensboro in a couple of days.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, Aaron, thank you. John Scheyer celebrating senior night with 25 points and a win. Mom and Dad are looking on with pride here at the Cameron. Scheyer with 20, Singler 25, Smith 20. The Big Three sensational senior night, a big success here at Duke as they demolish Carolina 82-50. SportsCenter is next on ESPN. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Dick Vitale, Aaron Andrews, and our entire crew, I'm Dan Schulman saying thanks for watching and so long from Cameron Indoor Stadium here in Durham.
This SportsCenter telecast is brought to you in high definition by Vizio. This is SportsCenter.
3 more dance cards are punched. We'll introduce you to the newest members of the team. More from Durham, the men who called the game for you here on ESPN. It's Dick Vitale and Dan Schulman there at Cameron Indoor.
Senior night here at Cameron, the best rivalry in college basketball, North Carolina and Duke, but it was a mismatch here tonight.
It was a mismatch because the big three for Duke were absolutely sensational right out of the get-go. They dominated offensively, defensively. What a phenomenal night. Scheyer started it all as they're bombing threes. I mean, you mentioned Scheyer, Singler, Smith. They were all on fire. I'm going to take a look right now. There's the jump shot. Singler knocks it down. And then we're going to watch right here another trifecta by Mr. Singler. And now we're going to watch him kick it out to Nolan Smith. Nolan drops it down. Nothing but nylon. Nolan up with the loose ball, change of direction, Jam City. It was all the Dukies tonight. Look at those numbers, Dan.
65 points for the three of them in an 82-50 win, so Duke will share the regular season crown of the ACC with Maryland. Duke will be the #1 seed going into the ACC tournament at Greensboro. Big picture, where do you see the Blue Devils?
Well, I see the Blue Devils becoming a #1 seed. I really do. I think they're going to join the likes of Syracuse, Kentucky, and Kansas. Their resume is very impressive. Wipe out the one bad loss to Georgetown. They've had so many good wins. The blowout over Gonzaga, dominant. I mean, I really believe this club has the look. They said the eye test, they passed the eye test.
Well, we'll get another look at them at Greensboro. We'll see you there. The ACC tournament is the next thing on the menu for Duke.
On the other side of this, we hope to hear from Carolina's head coach coming up. It's been a rough season in Chapel Hill. The defending national champions have now lost 15 games this year, 3 more than any other Roy Williams coach team has ever had. Only 2 other times in a Williams coaching career has he lost more than 10 games. One of those was his first year as a head coach, 88-89 at Kansas when they lost 12. Plenty more college basketball get to within this hour. Possible top seed gets upset in the Big 12 and a former #1 taste defeat again. Lots more college basketball and the bracketology and the whole thing coming up later on SportsCenter.
Olympic Games, Doug, the emotion simply pouring out of Lindsey Vonn as a lifelong dream comes true. But what is amazing, she goes back now to the World Cup where she does the yeoman's work. This is the story of Lindsey Vonn, just arriving to Europe. She's tired, she's been on the media tour, and still she has the intensity on race day every day.
Yeah, she arrived at 1 a.m. on Wednesday. She had to get up at 6 a.m. Wednesday to have that training run. Didn't do that well, 19th, 3rd in the second training run, but she is back to business here. She has a lot of work to do to win this overall World Cup for the 3rd straight year, and she has the lead.
The first skier we've seen in about 15 to come off that bump with a lead. Lindsey Vonn also skiing with a broken finger becomes a side note with all the injuries she has.
Yeah, she is the bionic woman for sure. You know, the shin, the arm, the pinky. What I love about her is she can execute on race day. She can ski the crayon. She knows exactly where she needs to go. She works with her husband Thomas about the line. This is the line you need to take, and so much more important today when it's snowing and a little bit of wind factor.
And now she is up by 64 hundredths. Lindsey Vonn in touch with another World Cup downhill title and out in front by almost a second.
She skied a different line there, a cleaner line, and she's carrying huge speed to the finish.
It was looking impossible to get a big lead. Lindsey Vonn once again doing the impossible, into the lead by nearly a second.
It's like, which course did she run? All the other ladies were skiing a different course. Almost a second in the lead. It's execution. It's smooth skiing. She linked the entire course. Here she is, just skiing clean. You saw the replays of the other girls. Look at Lindsey. Her right ski does not chatter one bit. That's clean.
Well, Nadia Comer, that's happened to her before. Lindsey Vonn knocking her out of position. Fabienne Suter now of Switzerland. She'll have... As she talks to the American Maria Riesch, again, if she wants to vie for that downhill title and the World Cup overall title, she needs some skiers besides herself to beat Vaughn.
Yeah, she needs Fischbacher. She needs Persson to step up there and take Vaughn out of the points. But Vaughn sitting a second in the lead right now. But Maria had a great Olympics, 2 gold medals. She had a tough time in the downhill with the crash right in front of her. She got iced out in the start, but she came back the next day and did very well. She's within reach, 4/10.
Well, 4/10. Vaughn made no mistakes from the midpoint down, and Riesch needs to do something special.
And that's not special right there. Offline on the left footer, offline on the right. Maybe she's letting it loose, trying to just run that low line and see if it works, but another mistake.
Well, it's looking very unlikely that she will unseat Vaughn at this point for the downhill, but also on her mind, the overall. Cannot let Lindsey Vonn get more points on her. Maria Riesch from Garmisch-Partenkirchen, Germany, keeping pace now with the last split.
That's amazing. She was 4/10 out, still 4/10 out with those mistakes. So maybe the bottom part of this course, her skis are running. She's doing what she needs to take in the tuck very quickly after that jump.
And Riesch to the line, into second. Not enough to push Vaughn back, but skiing through conditions that have historically put her on her heels. So Maria Riesch with a courageous effort here in Crans-Montana.
For sure, and to be that close to Lindsey at the bottom of this hill, she just let it go. A little bit of choppiness there, but I think her skis were running, and she just held on to them.
And so with that run there, it looks very promising that Lindsey Vonn will pick up her third downhill globe. But with that run there, Maria Riesch keeps herself in the hunt for that overall title that she has so desperately been chasing all season long. And again, the finals go to her hometown in Garmisch, Germany.
But it almost advantaged Lindsey, too, with more speed events in the next 5 races than the technical events. But Maria keeping it close.
This is Anna Fenninger. And indeed, this, as we talk about that overall title, certainly it's...
This year on Universal Sport.
Title before going to the finals. You know, it was pretty important to me. You know, I really wanted to finish out this week well, so that I didn't go into in Garmisch with too much stress. And thankfully, it's working out for me pretty well. But you know, it's always tough. You know, the last 2 weeks of the season are always difficult. This year, coming after the Olympics, you know, I had a lot going on. I think everyone was just tired, and so it's been tough to kind of just finish out strong. But I try to stay focused today and try to have the best run that I could, and just hopefully I can keep this going, you know, for the next couple speed races, and then I'll have a chance to relax a little bit.
And her life has been anything but relaxing to this point, having followed her around. It is amazing that Vonn had the energy to do what she did today. Hold off the attack from the back. Lindsey Vonn beating the Schnarf, as we've called her. Once said that errantly, and it has become her nickname. And the Schnarf will be the subject, the Audi performance of the day, Doug Lewis.
Is this a DVD?
That's a CD.